exciting offers every day at tsc.ca.
The Sportsnet app has everything. Whoa, we got
breaking news from Chicago. You broke that? I break everything.
Highlights, too.
The three. What a night for IQ.
IQ. Peep the stats.
Jack Hughes delivers again.
Check out the goals.
UFC pay-per-views.
Alexa, when you're in a chokehold, it's pretty easy to get out of it, right?
Say it, brother.
I'm tapping.
Tapping the app, eh, Timmy? Woo! Let's go.
Now, please rise if you can. Remove your hats and join Canadians from coast to coast live on Hockey Night in Canada and Elizabeth Irving in the singing of O Canada.
O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
6 months ago, we had ourselves a hell of a playoff series and a hell of a Game 7 right in this building, Rogers Arena, downtown Vancouver. Now, the weather was a little bit different. It was bright and sunny and beautiful before and after. Not so much from the moment Edmonton has arrived in Vancouver, raining sideways, as one would expect in November. The Oilers, the Canucks, the rematch of last year's terrific second-round series. It starts right now with Ryan Nugent-Hopkins facing off against Elias Pettersson. Alongside Bob Stauffer, I'm Jack Michaels, and this is your Legacy Heating and Cooling broadcast booth high atop Rogers Arena. Nugent-Hopkins flanked by Adam Henrique and Connor Brown. Defensively, Kulak and Emerson Stewart Skinner against Kevin Lankinen in net. And Nugent-Hopkins, who's had a good year in the face-off circle, wins the draw. These are two of the better teams in the league when it comes to face-offs point blank. So we're going to have some good battles in the circle. We're going to have some good battles all around the ice tonight. Edmonton in the white, Vancouver in the 90s vintage sweaters. The brown with the, I guess you could say, yellow and red trim, Kirk McLean style, and an errant toss from Quinn Hughes, looking deep for Jake DeBrusk, who, of course, starts this game for the Vancouver Canucks on a 3-game heater. He's got goals in 3 straight. Vancouver at 7-2-3, Edmonton 6-7-1, and right off the hop here, we've got Skinner McDavid and Zach Hyman for an offensive zone face-off, icing against Vancouver 30 seconds in.
Connor McDavid be the first to tell you he's got to get going too here.
McDavid wins the face-off, back to Bouchard. A shot redirected by McDavid just off the side of the net. And historically, McDavid has had some tremendous games against Vancouver. And here he's drawn a hooking call. They're going to say holding against Quinn Hughes, the captain. McDavid nearly tipped in the Bouchard shot. He draws a penalty. And Edmonton, who's only had one power play opportunity in 3 of the last 4 games, gets one early here.
Well, think of the sequence. Canucks ice the puck. Oilers get an ozone face-off win, get a great look off of it to Bouchard, deflected by McDavid. Frankly, unlucky that it didn't end up in the net. Now Edmonton gets a chance in the power play.
10 points in his first 11 games last year as well for Connor McDavid, and then he exploded to a 132-point campaign. He'll line up with Hyman in the slot. Draisaitl takes the face-off against Teddy Bluger, and off the draw, the puck curled free and cleared ultimately by Pius Suter of Vancouver, who's dressing 11-7 tonight. 11 forwards, 7 defensemen. No Noah Juleson is the 7th D-man. Here's McDavid in from the left-hand side. Nugent Hopkins kicks it back to Bouchard. Leon Draisaitl was worked off the puck by Suter, and he'll clear it down the left-hand side. The Atco power play brought to you by Alberta's trusted retailer. That's Atco Energy. Without, of course, Brock Besser tonight. Now, he missed Game 7 last year as well due to a blood clot issue. He was checked in the head by Tanner Jeannot the other night in Los Angeles when Vancouver beat the Kings 4-2. Jeannot got a 3-game suspension and Besser out indefinitely. A clear by the Canucks back through center. And Edmonton, who has not had problems getting set up for the most part this season, it's been in zone where their problems have occurred. And now the crowd wanted a call as Garland went down. McDavid to Draisaitl, and he forced one wide. Kiefer Sherwood, the NHL's hits leader, able to clear up the left wing boards. Bouchard able to stymie any sort of shorthanded rush, so it's McDavid back across the line left to right. Little give and go with Draisaitl. McDavid a shot. Stick save made. Rebound Lankinen watches it roll to the corner. Miller poked it free. McDavid is there. Gives it up for Draisaitl, right face-off dot. Still a healthy 30 seconds left on the Atco power play. McDavid back to Matthias Ekholm. Now McDavid, top of the circle. Draisaitl one-timer, short side save made. Rebound, tried to stuff it in tight. And that's where Edmonton's problems have been. Here's Nugent Hopkins up high between circles. Pass, an errant one looking for Draisaitl. McDavid double team down low. Philip Roenick trying to get it clear. JT Miller fails to get it done. Ekholm weaves his way, top of the circles, moves it to Draisaitl, fanned on one pass, then put it between the legs of Niels Oman. Draisaitl got it back. McDavid in tight, tried to stuff it, still loose, poked wide. Draisaitl scores. Loose puck, Draisaitl able to scoop it underneath the bar, and Edmonton able to convert the power play into a 1-0 lead. That'll be Draisaitl's 10th of the year, and he now has a point in 18 consecutive games in this building.
Hard net drive there by Connor McDavid. Don't think it's going to get challenged. And they're waiting for Rick Tocchet here. It's going to be a good goal. Oilers with the lead. Power play goal.
McDavid and Hyman, the helpers, on Draisaitl's 10th. He now has 12 goals and 27 points in his last 18 trips here. And he was a tour de force in the series last year as well, averaging 2 points per game in Edmonton's eventual 7-game victory. So the penalty to Hughes, and Vancouver had a chance to get that puck out, Bob.
Yep.
They did it, and they paid for it.
That cost them.
Canucks will get it in deep. Stetcher ridden against the boards. Teddy Bluger. Vasily Podkolzin, a first-round draft pick of the Canucks. His first game against Vancouver. He was acquired by the Oilers this August. Arvidsson, right wing lead pass from Darnell Nurse. He'll put it down low for Podkolzin. Edmonton up 1-0. Vancouver has now given up the first goal of the game in 7 straight.
Look out.
Breaking up ice, Danton Heinen. A shot off the rush and a glove save made by Stuart Skinner. Relatively routine stop, despite my partner's worries. Skinner makes the save, and Edmonton with a 1-0 lead. First shot of the game for Vancouver. The Oilers have had 5 in the early going. Draisaitl for McDavid and Hyman. 2:48 time of the power play goal.
Ekholm, as you know, won't get credit on that goal, but he made a great keep of the blue line that gave Edmonton a second chance opportunity on that power play.
Derek Ryan digging in against Atu Ratu. Oman in there principally for his penalty killing ability, but he was on the ice for that power play goal against. Oman getting the start instead of Arshdeep Bains as Rick Tocchet electing to put Noah Juleson in the game. Like Podkolzin, a first-round pick that didn't pan out in his original team, the Montreal Canadiens. Juleson actually was acquired by Vancouver for another first-round guy that didn't pan out, and that was Olli Juolevi. Only that was a top-5 pick, and Ratu with a shot that's deflected out of play off the face-off.
What do you think? You know, what would have happened if Edmonton, Puljujarvi 4, Vancouver 5 with Juolevi? Either one of those teams have got Matthew Tkachuk.
Well, I know one thing. It might have been Edmonton and Vancouver in that second-round series back in 22. Off the draw, Draisaitl able to win the face-off. Darting up the right-hand side is Darnell Nurse. A bouncing puck corralled by Ratu. And you never know. Maybe Matthew Tkachuk never ends up in the Sunshine State. Here's Draisaitl battling in the corner to extract that puck. It's played out to Tyler Myers. He and Carson Soucy, that deep pair on the back end for Vancouver that's been off to a shaky start. Lead pass, Draisaitl off to Matthias Janmark, and Edmonton under control. Still, the Canucks have scrambled to a 7-2-3 record, doing most of their damage on the road, where they're 6-1. They have just one win in 5 home games this season. Lead pass, Corey Perry is offside for Matthias Ekholm as he backed in. 4 1/2 gone by in the first period. And the Edmonton Oilers, on the strength of a power play goal by Leon Draisaitl, have a 1-0 lead. And that's Leon Draisaitl's 300th power play point. The only guys with more points on the power play than Leon Draisaitl since he entered the league in the 2014-15 campaign, well, Connor McDavid and Nikita Kucherov, who, along with Leon Draisaitl, I think those are all the scoring champions for about the last half-decade as well. JT Miller wins the face-off. Soucy across to Roenick, and he'll wrist one down deep. Does Kucherov have 2? McDavid has 4 or 5, and Draisaitl 1 over the last 8 years. Isn't that right there,
You're
partner?
Right. Yep, you got her.
That's a pretty heady list. So if I had given you a guess on those 2 names, you probably would have had it. Here's Ekholm working it up the left-hand side for Jeff Skinner. He'll carry the puck in left to right, 5-on-5. Skinner playing with Hyman and McDavid. Played back behind the net, Soucy. A jittery turnover. Bouchard tries to stash that one in front. It was broken up. Bouchard shined in the postseason series between these two teams last year. He had 4 goals and 11 points. Jake DeBrusk hustles it up the left-hand side. Soucy, sharp angle shot, and a save made by Stuart Skinner, hugging that near post. Skinner 3-5-1 with a save percentage of .885 coming in. Lankinen has probably been Vancouver's team MVP in the first 12 games. A clear by Edmonton, brought back in by Hughes. Long distance shot from the point, a save. Skinner gave up a rebound, though he didn't have to, and it's played back to Juleson as Vancouver keeps it alive. Hughes' shot blocked by Adam Henrique, and he'll have to regain at center. Slippery as ever, dishes off to Höglander. That was close to offside. Elias Pettersson swings it over to Hughes. Top of the left circle, shoots, and that's fought off by Skinner. And Hughes has really improved that shot from the point. Last couple summers, according to Rick Tocchet, Hughes has just been pounding pucks, and as a result, he's developed as a real scoring threat from the blue line, as evidenced by his 17 goals last year. And a good play by Connor Brown, forcing it up the middle for Stetcher, and now Draisaitl hard to the hole, taken away by Brandstrom. A clear, delivered by Teddy Bluger up to Kiefer Sherwood. He'll send it in deep. Since the NHL began tracking hits, no one has had more hits through 12 games of an NHL season than Kiefer Sherwood's 79. Desharnais collided with his own man Teddy Bluger, and it's forced back in by Podkolzin. 6'7" Tyler Myers over to play it up the right-hand glass, and here's Brett Kulak up the right-hand side. Arvidsson poked away by Myers. Myers and Desharnais out there. You've got more than 13 feet of defensemen. Here's Ratu up the right-hand side. Centering pass intercepted by Kulak. Ratu kept it alive for Brandstrom, who's much more diminutive than either Myers or Desharnais. He held the zone, albeit momentarily. JT Miller will bring it back in. The Pittsburgh native rides Emberson against the boards. Draisaitl in the vicinity, off to Victor Arvidsson. Edmonton 1, Vancouver 0. Draisaitl with a power play goal to give the Oilers the early lead. Bumped in by Arvidsson. Brandstrom will clear to Pius Suter, and here come the Canucks. 12.5 to go in the first period. 1-0 for Edmonton. Suter trying to center, broken up. Hughes is there in the offensive zone. Beautiful backhand pass down low to Pettersson, who got bowled over in the corner. Roenick gets it back from Hughes. A blast that was heading wide is speared by Skinner with 12:22 to play in the first period. Leon Draisaitl's 10th of the year. The difference right now as Edmonton looking to get back to 500. A 1-0 lead on the road in rainy Vancouver. Rogers Arena, site of tonight's Pacific Division clash. And this is Ford Dealers NHL Hockey, the Oilers Radio Network.
This is the Oilers Radio Network.
Face-off coming right side of Stuart Skinner, who escaped the playoff series against Vancouver with a 3-2 record, and most importantly, victories in Game 6 and 7, despite a sub-840 save percentage in that series. But he was protected in Game 6 and 7 by his team, and his confidence restored, played great against Dallas. Draisaitl watches as Adam Henrique moves in for the right wing. His shot redirected wide. The Canucks get a clear in deep. Nurse to play the puck, turned it over. Niels Höglander, high slot. Philip Roenick. Now Quinn Hughes will walk the line. Shimmies and shakes. His head and shoulders fakes really create space for himself, but Connor Brown did a good job of closing, forced him to give it up, and now Nurse with a long stretch pass to Nugent Hopkins, inadvertently tipped on net by Philip Roenick and covered by goaltender Kevin Lankinen. And when you're the backup for UC Soros, you are truly the backup. You play about every 2.5-3 weeks, and I'm telling you, Bob, in talking with Rick Tocchet, he feels like he's been the MVP for the first month of the season.
Well, you know, Brian Lawton does Oilers now, and for 2 years, Brian was saying, I think Kevin Lankinen could pop somewhere and be a really good platoon goaltender for somebody.
How about popping to a 7-0-2 record and a .923 save percentage coming in? McDavid to take the face-off, and you made an interesting point during our pregame show tonight. You know, he's among the guys that's got to get going. And in my experience with this team, usually they get it going on the road. Would not be surprised if tonight's the night. McDavid wins a faceoff. Bouchard slammed one wide. Rebound picked up by Zach Hyman. Draisaitl, a power play goal from Hyman and Connor McDavid. And for Zach Hyman, that's 199 NHL assists. So he'll be at 2 bills with this next helper. Canucks get it in deep. Rifled wide by Miller on an entry pass from the corner from Pius Suter, who really, you know, it's funny, 11:19 to go, first period, puck out of play. Suter's another guy, Bob. For me, he's a little like Vancouver's Michael Backlund head-to-head against Edmonton. Yeah. I feel like he's had some big moments. An underrated player who seems to play his best against Edmonton.
Well, you know, if you're Edmonton, you got to get a result. I mean, the Canucks don't have Thatcher Demko.
And they don't have Brock Besser, again, as they did it in Game 7.
And then add Dakota Joshua, who became a very effective player for them last year. So, I mean, the Oilers don't have Evander Kane, but we're not talking, I mean, the combination of those 3 players, this team's going to get way better.
Besser's a 40-goal guy, and Thatcher Demko was probably in the hunt for a Vezina before he was hurt.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he would have been right there. And so you start talking about the Canucks. Well, you know, they made it on mirrors last year. Well, they still had a 100-point player, the Norris winner, and maybe a Vezina guy. And they had the coach of the year off the draw. Quinn Hughes, 45-foot wrist shot is held by Skinner up near his clavicle.
So we know Evander Kane's going to come back at some point and change the dynamic of the Oilers forward. And at some stage, Stan Bowman's going to get another defenseman in Edmonton as well. The Oilers just got to play better. I mean, it's their top-end guys got to get going here.
Draisaitl against Teddy Bluger. Again, Edmonton 31st in the league in scoring, despite being second in shots on goal. And a hand pass will be whistled against Bluger off the face-off. Well, and a face-off will come into the neutral zone.
When you're dead last in shot percentage, Jack, that's not good. Especially when you combine that.
Well, they're 4th in shots against. They've been pretty good, but they're only 22nd in goals against. Yeah. So the goaltending has to get a little bit better, too.
Yeah, and, you know, they're 29th in save percentage. That's not going to cut it.
Well, there you go. I mean, you're bottom 4 in the league. In some respects, 6-7-1 doesn't sound so bad.
It's almost amazing that they have that record.
26th on the power play, dead last on the penalty kill. Bluger wins the face-off, wristed down deep by Philip Roenick. The Oilers have the puck and clear it up the right-hand side. Leon Draisaitl, left wing for Vasily Podkolzin. Hard to the net, taken out by Roenick, hard into the boards. Draisaitl to Ekholm, Bouchard right point, his shot redirected. Rebound collected by Leon Draisaitl. Peers inside, gives it up Ekholm. Shot right off the face mask, and the rebound cleared by Kiefer Sherwood. So the old mask save turned in by Kevin Lankinen, who won gold for Finland at the 19 World Championships. That's where he kind of earned the notice of the Chicago Blackhawks. Ended up in Chicago. A shot by Troy Stecher, redirected wide. Rebound from distance, dribbles wide. Taken by Darnell Nurse. Reversed by Brandstrom, who's bounced around a bit. Ratu up the right-hand side. Did not get it out. Choked off by Hyman. Skinner on the forecheck along with Connor McDavid. Brandstrom the home run to Ratu. He's in the Edmonton zone against Nurse. Centers off the stick of Stuart Skinner. Rebound Connor Garland, another guy who seems to save his best for Edmonton. Nurse will toss it back through center. Scooped up by Juleson, and then offside, McDavid and Skinner. A late shot on McDavid by Carson Soucy, and that was noted by Jeff Skinner. 9:53 to go in the first period. The shots are 7-6 Edmonton. The Oilers have gotten one to go in, and that was Draisaitl on the power play, his 10th. The difference right now, it's Edmonton 1, Vancouver no score. We're live from Rogers Arena in Vancouver, BC with Ford Dealers NHL Hockey, the Oilers Radio Network. Oilers 50-50, presented by Rogers, once again back. A signed Adam Henrique jersey and $500 from Safeway are your early bird prizes tonight. Bob, we got a brand new jackpot, and it benefits Wounded Warriors. So $250,000 and counting, of course. Ratu off the draw in the Vancouver zone. He's able to clear it inside the Oiler blue line, where Brent Kulak played nearly 24 minutes the other night. Fourth most of his career, and the most in 2.5 years for Brett Kulak. Swept around, Ty Emerson tucked back to Ryan, clubbed one on net, a blocker save made by a lunging Lankinen, and the rebound cleared by Ratu. 9.25 to go in the first period. The other night, of course, we saw the lefties play a lot together, and Nurse and Kulak, and the righties, Emerson and Stetcher.
Well, Kulak's top 10 with both Nurse and with Emerson in terms of the analytics.
Here's Emerson up the gut. That's broken up. A tipped pass. And on his horse is Connor Brown against J.T. Miller defensively. Swatted off his stick by Miller. Nugent Hopkins in the vicinity. Checked by Rodick. And now Quinn Hughes, who could skate his way out of a phone booth, finds J.T. Miller. Lead pass left wing, Connor Garland. Backhands it in front. Broken up by Troy Stetcher, who cut his teeth as an NHLer here in Vancouver. Hughes rolls up top. Gives it up. Rodick. Long shot. That was tipped. Nugent Hopkins tried to guide it up the left-hand side. Hughes held the zone. Hughes and Rodick have been outstanding 5-on-5 this year, outscoring the opposition 11-2. Brown will backhand it in against Rodick, and those two exchange forearm shivers as Hughes, the Vancouver captain, back to collect the puck. Up the right-hand side, Tyler Myers. Spilled in smartly by Höglander, and now Skinner out to handle. He'll give it up for Ekholm up the left-hand side, and that looks like icing against Edmonton with 8 minutes to play in this first period. And the Oilers leading 1-0 on a power play goal by Leon Draisaitl. Where do you put Quinn Hughes in the NHL pantheon of defensemen right now?
Second best.
To Cale Makar?
Yeah.
And a lot of people seem to think he's gaining on Makar rapidly.
He's good.
Face-off win for Draisaitl against Elias Pettersson. Hughes, the Norris winner last year. 17 goals, 92 points. Jake DeBrusk will shoot it in. It's going to be knocked down by the man who wears 74 in Edmonton colors, and that's Stuart Skinner. Lead pass, right side, Evan Bouchard. In the middle of the ice, Draisaitl gives it up. But Colson, a shot, a save made by goaltender Kevin Lankinen. Jake DeBrusk, hip check by Podkolzin. Kept it alive momentarily. Höglander was able to brush it back to the red line. Bouchard a strike to Draisaitl in over the line, left to right. Edmonton in the white, outlined in orange and blue. And again, the Oilers have played their best hockey on the road this year, where they have a record of 4 up and 2 down. Just 2-5-1 on home ice. They've got home games next week against the Islanders and the Nashville Predators. Here's Bouchard. Draisaitl. Little give and go.
They're tired.
Played back to center. Here's Matthias Ekholm. Fires it in from center. Go ahead. What were you going to say about it?
They needed to change that line. They've been out there for a while.
Canucks, hard rim up the left-hand side by Brandstrom. Settled down by Jeff Skinner. He'll nudge it back in. Got blasted by Sherwood against the boards. And that's laid up the left-hand side. McDavid able to take over for Edmonton. Kulak over to Nurse. And then back to Kulak. Playing the right side, cuts to his left, hits Skinner, poke checked off his stick. Kulak will follow it up and power it down low for Zach Hyman. He's reeled in by Tyler Myers. Might have gotten away with a hold. Captain Connor McDavid backhands it to Nurse. Over to Kulak. Skates to the high slot. Around Sherwood. Now shadowed by Danton Heinen. And that's gloved by Kevin Lankinen. A little floater that was tossed up there with 6:09 to go in this first period. And Edmonton holding a 1-0 lead against the Vancouver Canucks, who, remember, swept the regular season series from Edmonton for only the second time in the club's 45-year history of playing one another. The other time was 2015, a year that Bob and I have medically had cleared from our memory banks. It's actually been erased. It's until April.
Yes, April 18, 2015 was a pretty good day.
Face off, right-hand side. But that 14-15 campaign, you and I like to pretend never occurred.
Yeah. A lot of 7-ups after games, let me tell you.
Derek Ryan against Ratu. Here's Carson Soucy up to Elias Pettersson. I think it was that year where I learned what the definition of a sugared rib was. You brought me up to speed on that. Derek Ryan back to center. Troy Stetcher, left-hand side for Nurse.
One thing about Bailey's, it's tough to detect.
Here's Corey Perry up the left-hand side. Centering pass by Janmark, reeled in by Stetcher. His shot deflected to the far corner. Noah Juleson up the right-hand side and safely out of the zone. 5.5 to go in the first period. Janmark will kick it back to Emerson, and Edmonton gets a line change. Vancouver will do the same. Emerson fires up the gut. Enrique left it for Kulak. His wrist shot fought off, and a big rebound issue. Bounced free. Vancouver totally lost sight of the puck, particularly Garland. But the Canucks were able to grab it and clear up the right-hand side. Pius Suter. That went off Lankinen's blocker and sailed about 45 feet in the air. Here's J.T. Miller, deep right corner. Forces his way to the middle of the ice and then dumped by Emerson and Kulak. And it's Emerson with the outlet to Adam Henrique. Backhanded in by Connor Brown. Roenick first on the puck for Vancouver. Emerson's only NHL goal came against the Canucks last November, nearly a year ago to this day.
Was that the 10-1 game? I think it was.
It might have been. Here's Quinn Hughes. Forced off. Connor Brown getting harassed by Danton Heinen. Puck winds up behind the net. Tyler Myers. Lankinen gives Connor Brown a close look. Brown had it hacked away by Heinen, who then nearly coughed it up to Draisaitl. Tyler Myers back on the puck for Vancouver. Cuts to his left. And now eventually will backhand it down deep. Matthias Ekholm up the left-hand side. Podkolzin. Arvidsson. Leon Draisaitl to Bouchard, back to Draisaitl, centering pass, and ultimately that's going to be held by Lankinen with 3:57 to go in the first period. And we've got a 1-0 game in favor of the Edmonton Oilers. Leon Draisaitl, the power play goal, Vancouver, riding a 3-game winning streak. Edmonton looking to avoid a 3-game losing streak. It's the Oilers 1, the Canucks 0. This is Ford Oilers NHL Hockey, live from Vancouver's Rogers Arena, the Oilers Radio Network.
Experience the exciting casino action at 3 Century Casino locations, Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile. Dine at one of their amazing restaurants featuring daily specials. Take in the ultimate game day experience at the Century Sports Bar and Lounge. Check out the best in live entertainment at any amazing location. Plus, enjoy a great selection of casino gaming options and off-track betting. Feel the thrill of live horse racing at Century Mile Racetrack. Don't miss a second of the action at Century Casino. Come for the action. Stay for the fun.
Legacy Heating and Cooling jingle auditions take one for Gene Principe. Are you ready, Gene?
Ready. I'm not just here to make a thermo a couple of bucks. I'd never just microphone it in.
Take one.
Call Legacy.
Connor Brown got jackknifed into the boards. There was no call against Niels Höglander and Elias Pettersson in the offensive zone for Vancouver. Hughes to Philip Roenick. We're live in our Legacy Heating and Cooling broadcast booth in Vancouver. Philip Roenick looking to tie the game. One-timer, and Pettersson fired that wide as his slump deepens. Pettersson just 2 goals on the season. Vancouver, this is game 13. A turnover by Connor Brown, and Pius Suter's wrist shot dies in the glove of Stuart Skinner. A bit of an unforced error there by Edmonton in the neutral zone, but Skinner able to clean it up with his 8th save of the night.
A little bit of a soft play there. The Oilers pairing was out there for a while. And one thing that we're seeing here, well, they're flipping Nurse. Nurse is pairing with Stetcher, and then Ekholm and Bouchard. Sometimes Ekholm and Bouchard are with Draisaitl, and sometimes they're with McDavid. And the reason why that's important is because the scoring chances are coming while Ekholm and Bouchard are on the ice for the Oilers. They haven't scored enough this year, and part of it is they're not creating a lot out of their own zone.
Draisaitl wins the faceoff. Nurse off the rush. Rockets one up over top. Came off the glass. Stetcher did well just to hold the zone. Draisaitl fires a cross-ice pass that was tipped. Arvidsson will shovel it down low. Knocked off the stick of Podkolzin and played by Eric Brandstrom of Vancouver up to Teddy Bluger. Here come the Canucks left to right. Vinny Desharnais, of all people, leading the rush down the middle of the ice. Got it in deep but couldn't keep it there. Sherwood got bowled over by Darnell Nurse, and Podkolzin flashed it right back to Stetcher. Arvidsson will pick it up on the half wall in his own zone for Edmonton and whips it rink wide for Darnell Nurse, who puts it high up on the plexi, gathered by Carson Soucy back in his own zone for Vancouver. 1-0 Oilers. Draisaitl at 2:48 of the first period from McDavid and Hyman. Connor McDavid with point number 993 on his career. And McDavid cuts to his left around Soucy. Got it back. McDavid shoots and just blistered one wide. Boy, he's had a couple of good looks tonight already. Skinner tugged it off the boards. Hyman, Bouchard a blast, and that might have been towed aside by Kevin Lankinen. And remains 1-0 in favor of Vancouver. Beautiful move around Ekholm by Connor Garland up to Pius Suter. He button hooks and then backhands it down low. That'll be picked off by Skinner, and the Oilers will break out right to left. Oilers winning games 2 and 7 in this building last year in that playoff series to advance to play Dallas in the Western Conference Final. Icing against Mattias Ekholm off a Vancouver dump in. 17:24 to go in the second period. Vancouver won the Pacific Division last year. 50 wins, 109 points. And the difference in the division race, with Edmonton finishing 5 points back, was the Canucks' 4-0 head-to-head record against the Oilers.
And the 2 games here weren't close.
Well, and the one in April really decided the division, if you think about it, off the face-off, because Edmonton didn't have Connor McDavid for that game and kind of backed off its pursuit after losing that game. Oilers clear off the draw, tossed back in by Aatu Räty. Once again, the Canucks playing shorthanded tonight without Brock Besser. Thatcher Demko took the morning skate. A full workout. He's getting closer, but still not in Vancouver's lineup. That's their top goaltender, and Shelovs, who was such a hero in the first round series win over Nashville, has been ineffective this year. Icing against Vancouver and getting back in plenty of time was Ty Emberson. I'm not sure what the fans are upset about. He was clearly ahead of Neil Zomond. Icing against Vancouver, and an offensive zone draw upcoming for the Edmonton Oilers, who lead this game 1-0, a little more than 3 minutes into this second period.
Oilers without a shot in the first 3:12 of this period, but a great opportunity for Connor McDavid, and Lankinen's playing well, cut the angle down, and Connor tried to roof one blocker side on him and missed the top part of the net.
Derek Ryan wins an offensive zone faceoff, played back down low to Janmark, out to Ty Emberson. And now Janmark rolling up top with a wrist shot toward the net. That's blocked and cleared by Eric Brandstrom. No, took a weird hop off the stanchion to Ryan. Now Janmark in front, and it's a tap-in goal for Corey Perry. What a three-way passing play. And Edmonton, for the second game in a row, gets a big break off a stanchion. It went right to Derek Ryan. Tic-tac-toe. Oilers 2, Canucks nothing. That's Corey Perry's third of the year.
Well, you mentioned it, Jack. Zach Hyman with that freebie the other night, and that's just an incredibly fortuitous bounce for the Edmonton Oilers. And Derek Ryan and Janmark and Corey Perry will never score an easier goal.
That's Ryan's first point of the year. He'll get the second assist on the scoring play as that puck kicked off the stanchion right to Ryan in the high slot. Janmark and then Perry with Lankinen hopelessly out of position with an easy tap in. T.S. Janmark got banged up in that Vegas game, did return, took a practice off, and was okay to go for tonight. The Oilers off the center ice draw, get it in deep, now leading by a score of 2-0. Soucy puts it up the middle. Danton Heinen, right-hand side. I thought that fourth line had some real good moments in the Vegas game. You could feel it coming, and they're able to get one there. Sherwood out to Soucy, smashed one toward the net, blocked by Nugent Hopkins, and spun back to center for Adam Henrique. They're going to say he played with a high stick.
I thought Soucy.
Yeah, that wasn't even close. And now Soucy and Henrique in a bit of a wrestling match. Well, if I'm Adam Henrique, maybe you drop the gloves, take the 5-minute major, because you know your team is 5-0 when there's a fight involved.
Well, Soucy gave Connor the stick in the
yes. We gave him a little shot at the on a play that was kind of long since put to rest.
Yeah, and of course it was Carson Soucy last year. I don't think he intentionally meant to cross-check Connor, but he did cross-check Connor.
You're just saying that so you get the golf course invite in the summer
to Irma.
Yeah. I know you've always dreamt of extended time in Irma.
Irma is a fine community. Irma, Viking, they're great communities, and it helps that I beat Mike Soucy in overtime with a wrist shot to beat him in provincials and knock him out of it back in 1978. Well,
do we have any confirmation of that? Can I get a secondary source that's going to be scooped by Skinner? Or is it only your memory that we're depending on?
And Mike Soucy's.
Okay. You're going to have to introduce me, because I think I'm going to have to verify this.
Mike Soucy,
no offense.
I've never seen a guy at that age in that sort of condition. I mean, he is in unreal shape. And Carson, a little bit of a late bloomer, turned into a good player.
Would he say the same about you?
No, nobody would say the same about me. They'd say I got a face for radio.
Face-off win for JT Miller. Hey, I'm on with you tonight.
I know.
Here's Quinn Hughes.
You got one too, bud.
Connor Garland checked hard by Emerson, and that's an offside. Whistled against the Vancouver Canucks. 4:21 having elapsed here in the second period. 2-0 in favor of the Edmonton Oilers. Corey Perry, his third of the year, from Janmark and Ryan. It's all right. We can do some impromptu commercials.
It's okay. when we say this show's sold out, it's sold out.
It is sold out. I'm not that good that we can't run a commercial or two over the play-by-play. Off the face-off, Nurse and Kulak guided back through the right-hand side. Quinn Hughes able to take over, weave his way through the neutral zone effortlessly, but then JT Miller with a turnover, and Kulak will fire a pass up to Leon Draisaitl. He'll back his way into Arvidsson. Wrist shot score. 3-0 Edmonton. Arvidsson, a heater. And he blew it blocker side past Kevin Lankinen. And the Oilers all of a sudden have total command of this hockey game. That's going to be Victor Arvidsson's second of the year.
What a pass by Evan Bouchard, though. He stretches it up the ice to Draisaitl, who backs in over the blue line with possession of the puck. And then a dish across to Arvidsson. I'm sorry. Was that Kulak with the pass?
I'm pretty sure it was Kulak with the stretch, my friend. Playing on that right side.
On that right side. My apologies to all of you that got Brett Kulak in the pool.
Well, the Oilers have 2 goals in a minute 13, and when they get 3 goals this year, Bob, they're a perfect 6-0. 0-7-1 without getting to 3. Vancouver off the draw. Pettersson will fire it in. That's going to be picked up by Ekholm. What a finish by Arvidsson. That was a rocket of a wrister.
Need more of that.
Quick hands, and Pettersson scores, and Vancouver's back in the game. Elias Pettersson off a broken. But when DeBrus kind of fired it back toward the net on a drive-by, Pettersson was able to tip it past him. And that's a big goal for Elias Pettersson, who's off to a slow start. Didn't have a great finish last year. Final 20 games of the regular season and on through the playoffs. But he's put the Canucks back in the game 3-1.
See how Edmonton responds here, Jack.
That was kind of an innocuous-looking play with DeBrus just kind of more or less throwing it toward the net. Pettersson, the drive by the tip. And all of a sudden, it's 3-1. Arvidsson from Draisaitl and Kulak And then just 18 seconds later, Vancouver able to respond. Into the zone is Niels Höglander out to Tyler Myers. Slap pass off the boards. Poked away from DeBrusk by Darnell Nurse. DeBrusk will shovel it down low for Niels Höglander. He'll cut, he'll center. DeBrusk kicks it back. Soucy fires, and a blocker save made by Stuart Skinner. And the puck cleared out of play off the glass and out by Jeff Skinner. As you know, Bob, Pettersson just 2 goals in his last 29 games last year, and then just 2 in the first 12 this year. But that tip in, it's the kind of goal you get one to go in like that, maybe it gets you going downhill instead of uphill.
No question. I mean, the Oilers, and it wasn't an obvious play, like just boom. But that's why you put pucks on the net.
Correct.
And see how Skinner responds and the Oilers respond here.
Off the face-off, Brandstrom back to Connor Garland. His wrist shot, I'm not sure Stuart Skinner ever saw that, but it sailed wide and was cleared by Edmonton back in deep. Brandstrom to Vinny Desharnais. A pass that's going to be intercepted by Emerson, backing off. Then Desharnais batted it down. Cleared by Emerson over to Brett Kulak. Hard rim hit his teammate. Emerson able to settle it, shake off Atu Ratu, and it's eventually hacked out of there by Corey Perry back to center. Hammered back in by Brandstrom on net and guided to the corner by Stuart Skinner. Emerson able to seal the wall with a hard hit on Connor Garland. Philip Roenick held the zone for Vancouver at the right point. Garland checked by Kulak. Bluger to Quinn Hughes. Roenick, top of the right circle. Garland shovels it back to Danton Heinen. Garland waits, dishes. Heinen to shot, kick save, and one of Skinner's best of the night. Flashed out the right pad. Olds. Janmark with a bad turnover. Heinen dishes. Bluger waits. One-timer score. Roenick. Can't turn it over in your own end. And Edmonton pays this time as Bluger tees one up for Philip Roenick. His first goal of the year, and suddenly Vancouver has 2 goals in 2 minutes, and it's 3-2.
Well, Matthias,
that's a dead giveaway.
Yeah, it's the second time this year. Matthias Janmark, who has been historically a very reliable player, has reversed to the wrong spot on the ice and had an egregious giveaway. And then they beat Stuart Skinner high on the glove side. Roenick signing that massive deal in the offseason with the Canucks to the tune of $7.25 million times 8. Good player.
Heinen and Bluger with the assist on Roenick's first of the year. And it's 3-2. And you know what? Chris Knobloch is going to take a timeout here with 7 minutes to go in the second period. What do you think of that decision?
Need to settle down. I don't think a lot needs to be said here, Jack. I mean, you know that Knobloch's not a yeller and a screamer. Just manage the puck better. Like, both goals, you had possession of the puck. Can't happen.
It's interesting, Bob. The one thing I'll say about Rick Tocchet's club, since he took over the Canucks,
they've been resilient.
We've seen this from Vancouver, where Edmonton seemingly has total control of the game, and Vancouver somehow, someway finds a methodology of pushing its way back in. But you're right. These two were kind of handed to them.
I know that Janmark has played through an injury tonight, but you know what? This is where Edmonton's short. Don't have any cap space.
Off the draw, Stetcher defending in his own zone. Vancouver with 2 goals in a span of 159 to turn a 3-0 deficit into a 3-2 game. This is, quite frankly, what we saw in the last game between these two teams. And that was Game 7. Edmonton 3-0 cruise control with about 10 minutes left, and then all of a sudden it got hairy.
The only difference is the shots were about 28-6 for Edmonton at that point.
Kiefer Sherwood in from the right-hand side. Bluger forechecking. 12:20 to go, second period. All kinds of time. It's 3-2 Edmonton.
I think Chris should have come back with a dry set line here, Jack.
Stetcher and Nurse trapped in their own zone. Bluger the hard forecheck. Nurse is able to circle away from traffic and lead the rush up. You've got Nugent Hopkins, Henrique, and Brown out there, and that pass was tipped out of play. We'll have an offensive zone draw upcoming for Edmonton with 12:03 to go in the second period. It's game on tonight in Vancouver. Edmonton, just a few minutes ago, led 3-0 and seemingly had this game under control. But no, the Canucks rally with 2. And it's 3-2 at Rogers Arena. This is Four Dealers NHL Hockey. The Oilers Radio Network.
Weather forecast? Ugh. Savings forecast.
Paul Brandt here. You know what I'm a fan of? Alberta. The wide open spaces, the highways and byways, and a rugged, beautiful terrain that I'm proud to call home. Maybe that's why I'm also a fan of my Ford F-150. It's tough, capable, and smart, which makes it a natural fit for roads like these. So if it's a new truck you're looking for, look no further than the truck Albertans love to drive, F-150. Head into your Alberta Ford dealer and tell them PV sent you.
Every year, carbon monoxide poisoning kills over 300 Canadians and hospitalizes many more. Carbon monoxide has no smell, taste, or color. But protecting yourself and your family isn't hard. A properly functioning carbon monoxide alarm can detect carbon monoxide and alert you.
It's 9:29 p.m.
Carbon monoxide checklist to help you protect your household. Visit atco.com/co to learn more and download the checklist. Atco.
The time is 9:29 p.m.
We're made for Oilers fans. You can stream Brown's scoring down in the basement. And there it is! Watch Leon light the lamp in the living room. Spectacular! Connor scoring in all corners of the house. And Nurse notching a game winner in the nursery. Very quietly, of course. Rogers, proud partner and fan of your Edmonton Oilers.
Edmonton comes all the way back!
All games, all season. You're listening to the Oilers Radio Network. Be there for the next Game Day Live event on November 14th at Timeout Pub. For the full event schedule and to RSVP, go to OilersGameDayLive.com. CHED Edmonton, the station you turn to in an emergency. 880 CHED, Edmonton's news, today's talk.
A Chorus Entertainment radio station.
Stay connected with your community and enjoy the latest updates and exclusive access to concerts and events by becoming an 880 CHED Insider. Don't miss out on a single moment. Sign up now at 880ched.com and click on CHED Insider Newsletter to become a vital part of Edmonton's premier news and talk community. 880 CHED, Edmonton's news, today's talk, where Edmonton stays informed and entertained today and every day. The intermission, brought to you by End of the Row Flooring Centers. Let's get flooring.
JT Miller with a turnover, and Kulak will fire a pass up to Leon Draisaitl. He'll back his way into Arvidsson. Wrist shot score, 3-0 Edmonton. Arvidsson, a heater, and he blew it blocker side past Kevin Lankinen, and the Oilers all of a sudden have total command of this hockey game. That's going to be Victor Arvidsson's second of the year.
And that's our Highlight Zone, brought to you by Century Casinos. All in, all games, all season. Century Casinos.
can often turn into 35.
With 19 minutes, 15 seconds left in the third period, the Edmonton Oilers are beating the Vancouver Canucks 3-2.
The Oilers are able to earn a power play in the first minute of the third period, leading 3-2 with a chance for some much-needed insurance. Now, of course, McDavid, Nugent-Hopkins, and Hyman already been on the ice for 45 seconds.
So it might be a shorter shift because they were out there the entire power play last time, which
bled into a couple of extra seconds where Quinn Hughes was not released from the penalty box.
Got to win a draw here if you're Leon. He's won a lot of faceoffs, but not often on the power play.
Miller won the faceoff. Draisaitl 9-9 through 2 periods. 9 out of 18, split it down the middle. Hyman around the boards. Nugent-Hopkins able to keep it alive in the offensive zone, and now McDavid takes over. Back to Bouchard. Atco power play. McDavid drag move. Brilliant feed. One-timer, and that went off the post. And I believe Lankinen got a piece of it with his goalie stick. Nugent-Hopkins can't believe it. He thought he had a tap in. He did, and was foiled. It remains 3-2. A similar type of save was made by Aiden Hill on Wednesday night by the Vegas Golden Knights. Failed clear by Roenick. McDavid from Bouchard. Back to Bouchard. Top of the circle. Shot. Blocked. Rebound. Right to McDavid. Cross ice. That was deflected. Draisaitl able to come up with it. Now he'll give it to McDavid below the goal line. Out to Draisaitl. Top of the left circle. Atco power play. Halfway home. Nugent-Hopkins. McDavid. Right at the right face-off dot. Gives it back to Draisaitl. Slithers one across. Partially tipped. McDavid able to settle it down. Give it up for Bouchard. Waiting. Fires a pass into the corner that McDavid will have to corral. Guided back to Bouchard. Now McDavid dialing it up. Down low Nugent-Hopkins. Short side on Lankinen. Gives it up to Draisaitl. Unable to get it clear was Miller. Nugent-Hopkins, Draisaitl, Vancouver packed in tight, Draisaitl cross ice, and it was poked away. Pettersson saved a goal against McDavid, but did not get it out of the zone. Bouchard to McDavid. Edmonton just relentless. Here's McDavid, taken away, fired by Juleson down the right-hand side. That time, Edmonton out for the full 2 minutes with its first unit, but they don't cash in. 3-2, the score remains. Kulak up the right-hand side. Nurse will bang it in. 3 defensemen on the ice for Vancouver. Hughes, Desharnais, and Tyler Myers. Now Myers jumps up in the play. Here's a shot, and that was blocked. Oh, with still 3 defensemen. Vancouver looked to back off as Teddy Bluger forechecking on Kulak. Hits Garland. He lost the puck. And Corey Perry will fling it ahead. Looking for Jeff Skinner. Sent back the other way by Desharnais. And a hard hit by Nurse from behind on Teddy Bluger. Ty Emberson against Connor Garland in on the forecheck. Here's Corey Perry. Pressure from Ratu. He'll give it up for Nurse and lob back the other way by Emberson. That'll be settled by Quinn Hughes. Forced to back off by Adam Henrique. 3.5 gone by, third period. 3-2 in favor of Edmonton. Shoveled in, and Stuart Skinner forced to fall on it with Oman and Garland in the vicinity. 16 minutes, 18 seconds to go in the third period, and the Oilers lead the score by 3-2. Draisaitl, Perry, Arvidsson with the goals for Edmonton. Pettersson, Roenick for Vancouver.
Nugent-Hopkins has to deposit. I mean, it's a great, Lankinen got a stick there, bit of a post. You got to find a way to put that in the net. It's an open net look from Connor McDavid.
He got partial stick, partial post on that. I thought it was mostly post, but it definitely hit the stick on its way down from the post. Down and out. What a feed from Connor McDavid. Here's Brown to Ryan. Point blank. Save Lankinen. And then Brown crashed into him. And they're going to blow it dead. The puck was still loose. Desharnais with a little stiff arm on Derek Ryan. Brown foiled yet again on his bid to Derek Ryan and then crashed into Lankinen himself. trying to free that puck up. But what a feed to Derek Ryan, who was denied point blank by the Vancouver goalie. You said it earlier, Bob. Lankinen, a very subtle 14 saves on 17 shots, which does not look very good in the save percentage department, but he's made a couple of big ones.
The Oilers have had a ton of A-grade scoring opportunities, and they haven't been able to finish.
Ryan between Janmark and Connor Brown. Now, Adam Henrique has played in this third period.
Who hasn't is Jeff Skinner.
No, Skinner was out there.
Was he?
Brown digs in, beaten by Ratu. Here's Quinn Hughes. He'll skate up the left-hand side. Rolled one toward the net. Shot in by Nurse. All the way back inside the Vancouver blue line. But not far enough for icing. Roenick up to Jake DeBrusk. Now Teddy Bluger. Long shot from distance. Easily kicked to the corner by Skinner. Rebound directed to Connor Brown. Brown bumped off the puck by Sherwood. Quinn Hughes. Sherwood, a terrific ad for Vancouver. Gritty player who had a career year last year in Nashville and was signed by Vancouver for a pretty palatable $1.5 million. Lead pass. Here's Darnell Nurse over the line. Poke checked away from Vasily Podkolzin. Hughes slithers one ahead to Danton Heinen, but his pass intended for Sherwood intercepted by Nurse at center. Too much traffic on that bid for Arvidsson. Turning and firing up the left-hand side for J.T. Miller with Soucy. Garland at center will bang it in for Vancouver. Skinner will leave it for Ty Emberson. Staggers his way to the right-hand side. Garland and Suter skate right at him and force a turnover. Garland looking for Miller. Broken up by Kulak. That's the one guy Edmonton has really shut down to this point is J.T. Miller, who comes off a career-high 103-point campaign. McDavid will slide it the other way, pressuring Lankinen and Hyman, but it was covered by the Vancouver goalie with 5.5 minutes having elapsed here in the third period. And the score remains Edmonton 3, Vancouver 2. Oilers return home for a pair of games this upcoming week, Tuesday and Thursday, 7 o'clock Mountain Time starts against the New York Islanders and the Nashville Predators, whom they've already beaten twice. McDavid chased out, replaced by Nugent Hopkins. Pettersson won the face-off for Vancouver. Tyler Myers scoots away from Hyman. The outlet too far for Höglander. That's icing against the Canucks. 14:26 to go in the third. What do you think of the Kirk McLean jerseys, the early 90s edition? I prefer, if you're going to go retro, to me, you got to go back to the early 80s. Bring back the mustard yellows. I love those. I might be the only one who loved them.
Well, we've seen how you dress. It doesn't surprise me that you love that specific color scheme. You can pull it off, though.
Elias Pettersson up through center.
Not a lot of guys look good in yellow or orange.
Yeah, you've mastered the art of what? I would say your closet is approximately 11 shades of charcoal. Here's McDavid. Burst of speed, wrist shot, save made by Lankinen. And I don't mind that at all from Connor McDavid.
Yeah, keep shooting.
Lankinen stones him. 14:07 to go in the third, but that's McDavid basically skating 165 feet through three Canucks with a wrist shot that Lankinen is able to pin against his left ribs. Now the Oilers send out Henrique, flanked by Janmark and Brown. Nurse and Stetcher defensively. J.T. Miller to take the face-off for Vancouver. Henrique wins the draw. Nurse to Connor Brown. Top of the left circle. Fired high glove. Missed. Clattered off the glass. Good play by Stetcher to hold the zone. Hughes tried to cut off the cycle. Henrique centered it. Brown denied. Then Brown scored. Set up by Henrique. And finally that line able to break through. It's 4-2 Edmonton on Brown's second of the year.
Well, Jack, as you know, Connor Brown led the Ottawa Senators with 21 goals in the 2021 season. And he's been trying to find his game, coming all the way back from a serious injury that he suffered in Washington. Had a pretty good playoffs for Edmonton, and that time just stuck with it. And Henrique kept the play alive, and that's an important goal for the Oilers.
Time 6:10. And it starts with Henrique winning the faceoff from J.T. Miller. And then, as Bob said, after Brown was stoned initially, Henrique got in there and kept it alive. And Brown given a second opportunity, able to snipe on home. That's Adam Henrique's first assist of the season. Brown's second goal, and much-needed insurance for Edmonton. It's 4-2. McDavid out there with Derek Ryan and Corey Perry as it's sent in deep. Höglander will tuck it up the right-hand side for Elias Pettersson. Run off the puck by McDavid. Nurse to take over. Fires it across. Höglander the steal. He'll slide it down low for Jake DeBrusk. Around the boards, Victor Arvidsson. Gathering steam up through center. He'll hit the line and head to the hole. Backhander to save Lankinen. And another penalty coming up against Vancouver. Draisaitl gives it up. Arvidsson got it back from Matthias Ekholm, and now it's touched up by Teddy Bluger. But the Oilers will be back on the power play for a third time tonight with a chance to potentially put this game out of reach.
It's 10:17 p.m.
4, the Canucks 2. Live from Vancouver, more third period play-by-play in just a moment. The Atco power play will try to salt this one away. It's Four Dealers, NHL Hockey, the Oilers Radio Network. Oilers another opportunity here in this third period on the power play. Coming in, that had only one power play opportunity in 3 of the last 4 games. This is their third tonight. Draisaitl wins the faceoff. McDavid tucks it back to Bouchard. Gives it up for Nugent Hopkins. In the first period, they scored on the back end of a power play. Hyman down low. Rebound score. Connor McDavid hammers it home on Lankinen. And that time the Oilers needed just 10 seconds. Funneled down low to Hyman, who was stopped. But then McDavid stuffs it home. And Zach Hyman has just hit 200 assists for his career. More importantly, Edmonton 5, Vancouver 2.
Well, starts with a face-off win from Draisaitl. And then Nugent Hopkins and Hyman combine, and Hyman has the presence in mind to take it hard to the hole. And McDavid cleans up the garbage.
Time of the power play goal, 7:16. McDavid, who typically feasts on Vancouver. That's his 24th regular season goal in 41 games against the Canucks. He's got a goal and a helper tonight. And Edmonton may have just put this one away at 5-2. Henrique wins the faceoff. And now Nurse and Stetcher. Up the right-hand side, Brown makes sure of a clear in deep. Lankinen with a handoff to Noah Juleson. Eric Brandstrom. Left side for Niels Oman. Could not work his way around Stetcher. Darnell Nurse looked to poke it free. Oilers 1 for 3 on the Atco power play tonight. And McDavid with his 4th of the year.
One thing about the Canucks, Jack, they've been able to come back against Edmonton in games too.
Well, it's not dead, but that was a massive goal, which has drained the life out of the building. Canucks lead pass broken up. McDavid across the line, hits Kulak, waits, shoots and scores. And Edmonton pouring it on in Rogers Arena. It's 6-2. 3 goals in a span of 1:58 seconds have turned out the lights and turned a 3-2 nail-biter into a 6-2 romp. And Brett Kulak looks like he might be having a 20-goal campaign.
It's 4 for him.
Off to a terrific start.
The Oilers came into this game the lowest shooting percentage in the NHL, Jack.
And that's one Lankinen would love to have back.
They got 6 goals on 25 shots.
Season high 6, only the second time this year they've scored 5. Draisaitl looking for Arvidsson. Broken up, and now Elias Pettersson under control. Biggest thing, though, this is going to be a quality win on the road against a good hockey club. Bouchard, a blast and a blocker save made by Lankinen. Rebound Draisaitl, pursued by DeBrusk. Vasily Podkolzin. And it's cleared back through the middle. Arvidsson on the puck for Edmonton. McDavid and Ty Emberson with his first point as an Oiler. So a 3-point night for McDavid. That's his first 3-point game of the year. He did not have a 3-point game through 16 games last year. This game number 12 for McDavid. And a goal and 2 assists as Vancouver's Kiefer Sherwood will dump it in. Back to get it, Troy Stecher. So Kulak's fourth from McDavid and Emberson at 8:08 punctuates a 3-goal outburst at 1:58. And everyone waiting for the Edmonton Oilers to break through have finally been witness to it. DeBrusk run over by Darnell Nurse at center. And Corey Perry will back off and take it behind his net for a reset. Stecher biding his time. Put it into a lot of traffic.
Emberson.
Nugent Hopkins directs a pass for Hyman. Looked like he might have been clipped by Soucy. No penalty called. Up the right-hand side. Kulak defending at center against Connor Garland. In case you're wondering, Brett Kulak's career high of 6 goals came with Montreal in 2018-19. This is the second time in his career he's managed as many as 4. Run off the puck. Zach Hyman on Quinn Hughes, who gets it back from Atu Ratu. 9.5 to go in the third period. Niels Oman down the middle, inexplicably tried to give it up. He had a seam to the net. Disrupted by Emberson, and Janmark able to clear for the Oilers. Quinn Hughes back in his own zone after an Edmonton dumping. And it has gone quiet here in Vancouver's Rogers Arena. Music to the collective ears of the Edmonton Oilers. Pettersson. Net drive against Ekholm, who forced that wrist shot wide. Here's Connor Brown the other way for Edmonton. Snapshot score! Blew it right through the glove of Lankinen, and it's 7-2. And now it's a fusillade of vulcanized rubber hitting the back of the net here at Rogers Arena. That is 4 in the third period for Edmonton. Connor Brown's second of the game. And I believe Archer Shilovs will make an appearance with 9 minutes left in this hockey game.
Well, the Oilers have had success against Lankinen during his career.
He's 1-3 coming in, but nothing like this. Time 11:05. Remember, he had not lost a game in regulation entering tonight. And that's 2 in a row that, quite frankly, he should stop. But Brown will take it. 2 on the night, 3 on the year, and Edmonton rolling. And that'll be all for Kevin Lankinen. We talked about the fact he was this club's MVP through 12 games. With the goaltending situation in flux, Shilovs had nothing going on in his 3 starts. Lankinen came in, went 7-0-2. Shilovs 3 losses in 3 appearances this year with a save percentage of .797. Lankinen's night is done as he stops just 20 of 27. Brown from Janmark on the 7-2 goal. So the Oilers erupt here with 4 in the third and 4 in a span of less than 5 minutes, Bob.
5th time in Connor Brown's career he's had a multiple goal game, Jack.
Arvidsson wrists it up the right-hand side. 4 goals in a span of 4:55 has turned a close game into a rout. Draisaitl, the handoff, the tip by Arvidsson. And Shilovs greeted with a point-blank chance. He's able to make the save. Shilovs last year against the Oilers game, but ultimately finished with an .882 save percentage in that 7-game series. The better save percentage, however, he lost 4 out of 7. Garland able to wrist it back through the middle. Jeff Skinner on the ice for the first time in a while. Wrist shot, the save made by Lankinen. Rebound Garland. Derek Ryan pressuring. Skinner centers for Corey Perry, who glides behind the net, angles a pass to Darnell Nurse. Troy Stetcher will shovel it down low. Skinner can't get there. Ryan will give it to Skinner. Tried to go across to parry that pass, partially tipped. 7:20 to go. Stetcher to Nurse. Top of the right circle, Jeff Skinner. A wrist shot that was blocked. Corey Perry back on it for Edmonton. The Oilers have outshot the Canucks 29-16. Those are the kind of numbers we saw in the playoff series a year ago. Steal by Suter, slid wide by Teddy Bluger. Philip Roenick with less than 7 minutes to go throws it around. Quinn Hughes, his shot deflected. And Edmonton, we talked about the struggles in the third period against good teams like Carolina and Vegas. Well, in this third period, the Oilers have outshot the Canucks by a count of 14-2.
They're fresh.
And they've also finally broken through. And the last 2 goals were not great ones. Icing whistled against Quinn Hughes and the Canucks. 6:26 to go in the third period. Our score, Edmonton 7, Vancouver 2.
Let's go to the out-of-town scoreboard for Pizza 73. Edmonton Oil Kings lose 4-3 in Swift. Go win one, lose one on the road. They beat Medicine Hat last night 4-2. Bakersfield's in Abbotsford. There's under 6 minutes left in the game. Condors are up 3-1 over the Canucks farm team.
Drake Caggiula got into a dust-up in that game.
Matt Savoy got hit, and Drake Caggiula stepped up and fought out of his weight class.
Ratu wins a face-off against McDavid to the right of Shelovs. A turnover. Here's Nugent Hopkins. Down low to Zach Hyman. Backhander stopped by Shelovs. Rebound Ratu. Ahead for Teddy Bluger. And he'll chip behind the Oiler defense. Ty Emberson gives it up to Brett Kulak. Well, our colleague Louis DeBrusque on After Hours over on Hockey Night in Canada, set to discuss things with his son, Jake DeBrusque, and I believe it'll be the second time in Jake's career that his team has given up a 7 spot on a night where he was scheduled to do After Hours. So
he's going to
enjoy it while it lasts, Okie, because I'm not sure.
With 5 minutes, 35 seconds left in the third period, the Edmonton Oilers are beating the Vancouver Canucks 7-2.
By your phraseology, that Connor Brown has not had a hat trick in his NHL
he's never
career.
had an NHL hat trick.
Well, that backhander, I mean, after the first one, why not flip it up there? Shelov's able to make the save, and Edmonton has put this game away with 4 unanswered goals in the third period. 4 goals in less than 5 minutes, and it's on cruise control here at Vancouver's. Edmonton with 4 in the third period to break it open. Off the draw, Ekholm, down low to Arvidsson. Now Draisaitl on the right half boards. Locates Podkolzin. Tough pass. Ekholm unable to maintain. Has to back off at center. Draisaitl's pass inadvertently flicked in by Neil Zoman of Vancouver. Desharnais left it for Eric Brandstrom, who sends one up the boards and back to center. So Vancouver will see its modest 3-game winning streak come to a screeching halt. Draisaitl to Bouchard, a blast, and that was blocked. And Bob Edmonton will have its highest quality win this year. But Colson got a little dust up on his way off. 4:45 to play third period. 7-2 for Edmonton. And this highly anticipated rematch of last year's 7-game second-round series is going to wind up with the Oilers winning while going away. Turnover by Suter. And a wrist shot tossed wide by Connor Brown. And I have a feeling that his Edmonton Oiler teammates are going to try to get him that first NHL hat trick. As he's sent sprawling, Pius Suter clears for Vancouver up to Quinn Hughes. Gains the line right to left, cross ice, one-timer and a lunging save made by Stuart Skinner with a left pad. His best stop of the night as he robs Pius Suter and keeps it 7-2 with 4:13 to play. We'll return to Rogers Arena with the final minutes of regulation as the Oilers will climb back to 500 at the expense of the Vancouver Canucks. It's all Edmonton, 7-2 at Rogers Arena on Ford Dealers NHL Hockey, the Oilers Radio Network.
The holiday countdown has started at Freedom Ford. Unbeatable deals on 2024 models with savings up to $15,000 and 0% financing. Plus, enjoy up to $10,000 cash back on your new Ford. Hurry, these offers won't last.
Hockey is back, and so is Play Alberta. Alberta's #1 sportsbook and the official partner of the Edmonton Oilers. Cheer for the Oilers while scoring bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Alberta? New players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. Already a player? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet. Download the new Sportsbook app and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Chemco is more than just a trusted local name. Chemco has been building industry across Canada for more than 60 years. From engineering through to commissioning, construction, maintenance, and beyond, Chemco's multidiscipline approach stands firmly on the belief that Chemco cares. It's not just what they do, it's how they do it. Visit Chemco.com and discover how they can support your project today. Chemco, proud fans of the Edmonton Oilers, serving and supporting communities across Canada for over 60 years.
The holiday countdown has started at Freedom Ford. Unbeatable deals on 2024 models with savings up to $15,000 and 0% financing. Plus, enjoy up to $10,000 cash back on your new Ford. Hurry, these offers won't last.
Listen on air, online, and on the Radio Player Canada app.
This is the Oilers Radio Network.
7-2 hockey game for the Edmonton Oilers. 4:13 to play in the third period. And a face-off to Stuart Skinner's left-hand side. Connor McDavid's first three-point game of the season, highlighting a third-period outburst where the Oilers turned this game into a runaway with 4 goals in a span of 4:55. Off the draw, a shot from distance by Hughes. Blocker to the corner by Stuart Skinner. Reverse to Troy Stetcher by Darnell Nurse. Stetcher looking up ice, rifling a pass to Corey Perry. Guided into the corner. Derek Ryan taken against the boards. Perry behind the net. Skinner tried to backhander. That was broken up. Falling down, Teddy Bluger did not get out of the zone. Perry back to work with Skinner and Ryan. Poke checked by Shelovs. Skinner able to reel it in. Elude a check from Danton Heinen. Ryan tries to burrow in there, right corner. Nurse, long shot, and that's gloved by Shelovs with 3:29 to play in this third period. And Edmonton, a little bit of a lapse, leading 3-0 early second period. Gave up 2 goals, principally off turnovers in a 2-minute span. And it was 3-2 heading to the third. But the Oilers turning out the lights here in the third period and a key power play conversion.
Look who's out here with Connor Brown, Jack.
Nugent Hopkins and McDavid. And we all know why they're out there, trying to get Connor Brown his first hat trick. Connor Brown off the draw, lurking. He's been in the league for a decade. Goes back a ways with McDavid and Chris Knobloch, of course, to their junior days in Erie.
Let him in scoring.
Emerson flipped it back towards center. Here's Connor Brown, left wing. Pulls up against Oman. Kulak shifts gears, tried to center, and that was intercepted and cleared by Niels Höglander. Emerson will track it down as Brown changes with Nugent Hopkins and McDavid onto the ice. Well, no, Brown hasn't changed just yet. Now he'll come off. Henrique, Janmark, and Zach Hyman, the line out for Edmonton. As we come up on 2.5 minutes to play, a lead pass, JT Miller held in check tonight.
It's been a good performance from Edmonton, a lot of different players.
Bouchard just handling the puck in his own zone, killing some time with that goal. Rink wide to Janmark on the right side. And now the sizable contingent of Oiler fans who've made their way to Vancouver are making their voices be heard. And this is resounding. A reminder, we're in Vancouver. And the Oiler fans have completely taken over here in Vancouver. We're going to get a hold whistled against Edmonton on a chip-in by Atu Ratu with 1:52 to go in the third period. The Canucks will spend the remainder of the game on the power play should they fail to convert, as Evan Bouchard will be sent to the box. This is Vancouver's second power play opportunity. Interference whistled against Bouchard. And a face-off to Skinner's right-hand side. And now the Oilers will try to buckle down and close out this game in fine fashion. Skinner just made a terrific save a few minutes ago on Pius Suter. Sad to face only 18 shots tonight and only 4 in this third period. It's been a very good third period after the Oilers were outplayed by Vegas in the third on Wednesday night.
Again.
Third game in 4 nights. Could have been some fatigue involved, no question. Pettersson to JT Miller. Tried to backhand it inside. Emerson, a failed clear. Hughes to Elias Pettersson. Back to Quinn Hughes. Shot right into the chest of Stuart Skinner with a minute 27 left to play in the third period, and the face-off will come to the right of the Oiler goal with Edmonton on top 7-2.
And it's the final. Bakersfield has defeated Abbotsford 3-1.
So a clean sweep of the Edmonton organizations head up against Vancouver's. Napa Auto Parts penalty killing unit. Nugent Hopkins, Henrique, Nurse, and Stetcher. Face off won by Nugent Hopkins. Nurse a hard rim up the left-hand side. Nugent Hopkins with an assist on the McDavid power play goal that put this one out of reach. Then the Oilers got a couple of softies and chased Kevin Lankin, who had been so good for Vancouver, entering this game with a .923 save percentage. He got torched for 7 goals on 27 shots. Pettersson gained.
Está sonando -set 2000.
On June 6, 2022, the Edmonton Oilers lost to the Colorado Avalanche 6-5 in overtime. The Oilers lost to the Colorado Avalanche in 4 games in the third round of the Stanley Cup playoffs.
In a 7-3 rout for the Edmonton Oilers of the Vancouver Canucks.
Well, Darnell Nurse tried to sweep the puck away with his hand. It was airborne, and it went right to the Canuck player. It was an easy tap-in to settle the net for Suter. That'll be his 5th. He's having a good year. It's 5 for him.
Suter for Pettersson at 19:06 on the power play. Still a healthy 7-3 lead. Yeah, you don't want to tee it up for Elias Pettersson. He'll find the guy. And he did. Oilers off the draw. See Ratu slam it in. Corey Perry in for the right-hand side. They'll put the brakes on back behind the net. Give Hughes the second assist on the scoring play as Vancouver rolls it in deep. Played up the right-hand side. Cut off by Eric Brandstrom. He'll go down low. Niels Oman trying to shrug off a check from Corey Perry. Emerson with 10 seconds left in the third period. The puck squirts free out into the neutral zone, and that'll be all. Brandstrom won't bother advancing the puck further. And this game is over. Edmonton 7, Vancouver 3. Again, 4 third period goals in a span of 4 minutes and 55 seconds. Turn out the lights on the Vancouver Canucks. And the Oilers' long dormant offense, one that despite ranking second in the league in shots on goal, came in second to last in the league in goals per game, erupts for 7. And the Oilers put away the Canucks by a resounding score of 7-3. Their highest quality win.